Greetings, every peoples! Your cult of personality here. ToonKritic's the name. Tunes are the name of my game. Welcome back to Roundtable's Magic, the show where we sometimes review the show, and now occasionally we interview people from My Little Pony. You've seen us interview quite a bunch of people. The last time we had Nicole Oliver. Today we have a very special guest. You may know him from many series such as Captain N, Transformers Energon, Card Captors, Ed, and Eddy, and of course, My Little Pony. I give to you the voice of Soarin, Matt Hill.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We are doing very well, sir.
Oh, fantastic. I just wanted to say thanks for having me on and thanks for saving my pie. Because I tell ya, that's what started it all.
One little joke about a pie, and it's all the way into the next atmosphere by now.
That's right.
So, alright, this should flow rather smoothly, but there was actually, I know that you are a voice actor, but there's really one quick thing that I wanted to ask about. You have a running company called On the Run.
Yes.
Would you like to tell the people about that real quick?
Well, sure. We do, we teach people how to run healthy and happy for life, and because along with this wonderful career in doing voices and cartoons and all sorts of things, running has always been a big part of my life as well. So when I got back from running around North America in 2009, 2009, we decided to start up this company. And so, teach people to love what they do, but also, love running and keep them healthy and happy doing it at the same time.
That is really cool, actually. I don't know many people that would start up something like that, so I got to give you props for that. It's good for not just like all sorts of different people, but it's good for the environment too.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing, right? You can get around anywhere you need to go. I mean, that's what I love, about obviously running is that it helps me to get places. But, even in times when I've not been, say, running for a bit, you still walk everywhere, right? It's it's a good way to keep yourself moving forward.
Yes. And, of course, my co-hosts for this lovely episode are the following: Golden Fox.
Hello, Golden.
What's up, everybody?
And Lightning Bliss.
Hello, Lightning Bliss.
Hello, sir.
And by special request, the one and only Mr. Jasper Pye, a.k.a. Joey Turner.
I'm containing my excitement because Daddy Critic made me.
Okay, that's...
Contained.
That's interesting. Okay, I've never actually been called that, and I hope I never do get called that again. Anyway, PG Podcast. So let's get this train rolling, shall we? So, of course, the big question, you're a voice actor, sir.
Yes.
Well, how long have you been doing this? What got you into voice acting?
Well, about I guess I'm unofficially in my 30th year doing this crazy amazing voiceover business. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. This is snap of the fingers and here we go. But it really kind of started I guess just as voice projects were starting to come to Vancouver, and my agent at the time put me up for a live one of the last radio shows that were ever done in Canada, and I got the part. And so after that, that led to getting one of the first cartoons that came into Vancouver as well from the States it was for Captain Nintendo for NBC 7. So that was this massive jump into sort of the big TV channels that I'd watched as a child, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it was pretty cool. It was, I remember the first time ever hearing my voice on, Saturday morning cartoons, I was just kind of mesmerized going, wow, that's me? Holy smokes.
Hey, you gotta start somewhere. I mean, Captain N, even now, people look back and I was just like, what was that show? It's so bizarre now.
Oh, absolutely. But you know what? I think that was what the appeal of it was, right? Because it was so unique and, in a way it broke the mold so much with, especially Saturday morning cartoons, you know?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Joey.
Was voice acting always your dream job, or did you have other careers in mind?
Well, I'd always wanted to be an actor as well. But, I mean, voiceover, it's funny. Sometimes it's like, when they say reach for the stars and you might just, or reach for the moon and you might just hit a star. I'd always wanted to be, in film and TV. But then voiceover just landed in my lap as well, just as, as big as voice and TV, or voice and, television and film had. And, like I say, 30 years later, I enjoy doing that as much as, any other time, I've been on television before, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's fun for some, I think. When people first start out, they don't exactly know what they're getting into, but then apparently, like, almost 30 years later, here you are with a very impressive voice acting resume spanning so many different cartoons.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, that's where I feel so blessed to get to do what I get to do, because, every time I get a new gig, I know that I'm getting to inspire a new generation of kids, right? And,
yeah.
Especially, for me, like doing my running, for instance, when we ran around North America, that was kind of like the big catalyst moment for us to be able to actually connect with all the kids that we talked to. And it was these cartoon characters that, for me, were authentic because I was hired to do the voice. But yet it really helped us instantly connect with, these 50,000 kids, on our 11,000-mile run. So, it's really, I have mucho gratitude for, this career in cartoons and voiceover.
Bliss, you're up next.
Oh, yeah. So, Brony community kind of blown up, or this franchise, this fandom, hasn't it?
Yeah, since 2011.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't believe we're on season 7, and I remember when I was a kid in G1, when I was in 5th grade and all the girls were falling out of the pony step and into Backstreet Boys, I'm like, well, okay, I guess the pony step's over and it's never coming back. I guess I'll have to keep my nostalgia hidden up until I'm 24. But that being said, how do you feel knowing that you're voicing a character for a fandom that has gone this big after all these years?
Yeah, you know what? I really didn't realize how big ponies were till I got invited to, my first sort of, brony convention or pony convention. And then this army of, unbelievable fans that are so loyal to the show, and really this community that, what I really was struck with really quickly was they accepted everybody. It didn't matter, where you were from, who you were with, who you were, myself included. I was just accepted as, being part of this community. And, I think the message of the ponies, story and the franchise and the, and the characters, it's just, it's brilliant. I think that's where I think people are always just wanting to feel like they're, connected with something. And I really believe that this is that community really, kind of shows that, right?
Yeah. It's changed over the years. I think at first when it started out, people were a little weirded out by it. But now when you mention bronies, they're just like, oh yeah, they're cool. They've been here. They've established themselves.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's not, it's funny. It's not this fringe group, but yet at the beginning, it probably was, right? Because there was just a sort of, quasi small group of fans. But then now it's grown the world over. So it's actually, in some respects, it's like, it's okay if you're a grandpa and you're a ponies fan because, maybe your grandkid got you into it or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's, it's a good thing. I mean, I think that, for me, obviously playing Soarin, even though I don't get to, do every single episode, when I do come into the show, I love how it's written. I love, I think the message is absolutely brilliant,
Yeah. What do you think of Soarin, like, as he's evolved, like, over the episodes? Like, what is your take on Soarin?
What's my take on Soarin? He's kind of like me, I think, it's interesting. A little bit, but, I think that's actually why I got hired to do it because, the creators of the show, especially the Vancouver, directors and producers, they know me from other stuff that I've done. And, and it was interesting, the director, told me later on, when this character of Soarin, came across him, he was like, "Oh my God, I got to get Matt Hill to do this." So it was, again, it was. I think in a way it was kind of, like imitating art, right?
Yeah, it is.
So, but I wish I could fly.
Oh, don't we all?
Who doesn't?
It's so cool.
To be able to touch the sky.
I mean, if anything, you know what I love about Soarin's character? It's seeing a different perspective. When I was in like middle and high school, I used to have a very poor impression of jocks or guys that were into sports because I guess I had one too many bad instances where I would meet up with a few of them and they wouldn't be the nicest of people. And it was unfortunate, but I see the character Soarin, and he's nothing like that at all. He's very kind, he's very sweet, he's a little clumsy, but he's obviously on the Wonderbolt team for a reason because he has talent. And I'm like, okay, that's a new take on jocks, and that they're not all bad. They're not all like they think that they're hot shots. No offense, Spitfire.
Right. I don't think we can
just burn.
Jeez.
You did another pun.
Actually, Matt, it's funny you mentioned that. The image that we actually have for this interview, I have a link for it right here. I thought you might want to see it. This is actually made by Lightning Bliss. She's our artist.
So where would I see that?
It's right down here in the Skype group. It's the Imgur link right there.
Sorry, technology and me are an evolving journey.
Hey, it's all good. My grandparents are like that too, so.
So where would it be?
Okay. The group...
in the chat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you just scroll down.
Just scroll at the bottom. You should see a link.
Oh, well, that's weird. All I see is it says make this group a video call for free, but then it's got all you guys. It's got 3 pictures, and then
there should be like a conversation bubble like somewhere nearby, like on the screen.
Yeah, you click on that so you can see the chat box.
Chat box. Oh, look at that. There's the chat. And no, setup. Is that what you mean? Oh, okay. Down here, like on the right hand side.
Yeah.
Where it says image the most awesome.
Yes.
Images on the internet.
Yep. Just click that link, and that is the picture right there.
Hey, look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's us, and of course that's our friend Joey in the background, dressed like Ed, and the rest of us are Thunderbolts.
Oh, there he is, my buddy. Wow, so very cool. Oh, amazing.
I think I'm too small to join the team.
Well, that's why you're in the junior league. It's okay. You gotta start somewhere.
I'm older than you.
Oh my god.
If it makes you feel better, Bliss, your attitude kinda is over the height chart.
I'm still older than all of you, so shush.
Anyway, we're losing track. Let's get back onto this.
Sorry.
Fox, you were up next.
Yes. Hang on.
Don't lose
Can
your
you
spot.
tell us about your personal connection with Transformers?
My personal connection.
Yeah.
My personal connection. Well, I mean, getting to play Carlos and Ironhide, and in I guess what was that in the late '90s and early 2000s.
Energon.
Yeah. I always call it Energon, but they're always like, no, it's Energon. It's Energon. So I got to do that for a couple of years, and same thing there, right? It's just such a huge fan base around the world. It's I didn't realize again, until I got invited to a fan convention, that in a way people kept saying, "Oh my God, your voice is, thank you so much for all you do." And then I hear somebody sharing a story about how maybe one of the characters, really helped them feel like they were, that they mattered and that they belong, and that if they felt like maybe they were a bit of an outsider, at some time in their life, that some of these characters really, help them to believe in themselves, So it's so cool, because that's where I know, for me, that's where I want to keep living, right? Is, every time I get a new show, I know I'm going to get to inspire a new generation of, of kids or big kids, right?
Yeah.
That are watching our shows, and, and it's, like I said, I humbly say it's a great life. I mean, God, we spent all yesterday in the studio and we were laughing our brains out for 4 hours. So, and we got paid. So hello, it's pretty good.
I do a voice, you give me the muns, it all works out for everybody.
Exactly. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
All right, Joey. Okay, now this is a joke question, mind you, but he's wanted to say this, so let's go with this anyway. Go ahead, Joey.
This is a very groundbreaking question. What do you like more, pie, buttered toast, or gravy?
Oh, great.
That's not fair.
She's not there. You said it's either pie or buttered toast or gravy. Let me okay, guys, I like buttered toast with gravy on top of it with some pie. Is that okay?
Yes, that
Pie
works.
moments like these.
Okay. I also anybody know, but I also like I also like a jawbreakers a little bit. Okay. So
You know what? Here's something.
Oh.
Buttered pie, but the type of pie flavor is Jawbreakers inside the pie.
Why would you put jawbreakers in the pie?
You're gonna
that's
kill
my
somebody.
favorite.
Oh, sorry about this. Like, I know you probably get a lot of like people saying, "Hey, do the Ed voice and whatnot," because you played Ed from Ed, and Eddy, which is one of the biggest cartoons like of all time, and it's a very, very memorable, very like almost historic role in cartoons. So, I understand you must get that a lot.
Well, you guys are maybe like only the second people that have ever, kind of ever asked. So, it's kind of new to me, because no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I was about to say, what?
I swear to God, you guys, being able to do Ed, saved our bacon when we were running through America. Because like you said, in 2008 and 9, it was still one of the biggest Cartoon Network shows. So to be able to walk into a school, have 1,500 kids, and I just go, hello, who wants to save the planet with Ed and Steph and Matt and Raphael and, all these other characters. And, 1,500 kids would just be like, ah, oh my God. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy, and, like I said, I feel like what a gift, right, to be able to use this authentic voice that, again, helped me, instantly connect with people that, for whatever reason, man, Ed and Eddy sure struck a chord,
Absolutely. This actually segues very nicely into the question I wanted to ask. Considering that there's like so many reboots coming out recently, you got like Teen Titans Go, you have Powerpuff Girls, you have DuckTales, you have so many shows that are coming back. Right. This is probably a no-brainer question, but if they were to do an Ed, and Eddy reboot, how down would you be for that?
That's such a great question. I think probably my gut is, I don't want to burst your balloba, but I doubt that they would do. There's just something that tells me that would probably be the last thing that Danny would do, who's the creator, obviously, of Ed and Eddy, and I don't know. I think he'd probably be kind of like Seinfeld. It'd be like, why would I want to come back when I went out on the top?
I think that kind of makes sense.
I think so. Obviously, I think if we would have been still doing the series and it was still doing well, that'd be a different conversation, right? But there's been so much time go under the bridge that I think in a way it's almost like, you guys are probably too young for this, but like, I remember like my favorite band growing up was Van Halen, with
oh man,
David Lee Roth. And I thought they were like the coolest guys on the planet, and that, in a way there's a reason they didn't play together for 15 years because, Dave Roth came back and, I went and saw them and, I was so disappointed because he was horrible, So I think in a way, maybe, who knows, maybe Ed would sound like a very weird, I don't know, maybe I'd start sounding old or something, I'd be like, oh, okay, Eddie, who knows, maybe
yeah. It was like, how could they bring that cartoon back? Are they teenagers now, or grown adults? How would they do that?
Yeah. It's funny because it kind of reminds me of, I got a call from the people who did, that I did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with, And I guess what, like 15 years after, they were going to do a reboot of, but it was going to be a made-for-TV movie miniseries. So picture
Oh.
that. It was going to be four 2-hour movies, or no, maybe two or three, 2-hour movies on ABC, and it was going to be the Ninja Turtles 15 years later, where like they
Really?
living life normally in New York, and I thought in a way, oh, that's kind of cool because I get a chance to jump in the suit again. But then I was kind of glad that it actually got canceled because I don't know, I just think it would have been weird. I think people would have been like, what? These guys are old? They're not? What?
You were Raphael, right?
Yeah.
That's one of
Yep.
my personal favorite Ninja Turtles, just saying. But
Yeah, I'm like, hey, he's the best one.
well,
All right.
I
Thanks for saying that, guys. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
But-
I can definitely see that perspective because whenever it comes to any franchise, particularly, you don't want to go too far. And at most, as far as Ed and Eddy goes, end with a bang. Case in point, the Big Picture show.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Network
Yeah.
didn't treat it like it was a big deal.
Keyframe in
Yeah.
the background. But I have to say though, like Ed and Eddy has been a show that has touched millions. It's been a great. It's a hilarious show. It still stands the test of time. I'm sure, like over the years, it has definitely been a positive influence on your life.
Oh my God, absolutely. That's why I say, like, I swear to God, I think that for me personally, obviously the gift of being able to do the show for as many seasons as we did, and so to be able to play this character and have so much fun with my Ed brothers and the rest of the cast, which again, it's the only show I've ever done that we never ever had pickups, which are you do later when they realize that maybe the script doesn't fully like work, and so they have to like redo scenes and things like that. And we never had pickups to do because God bless Danny. I mean, we worked our butts off, but he would never let the scene go until we got it to where he wanted it to be, and so I'm really proud of that, and I think in a way that's why it's stood the test of time, and it's still such a unique show with all these characters, and then like I said, when we went out on our 11,000-mile run around North America called Run for One Planet, like I said, the second that we entered America, that was our connection point. That Ed and Raphael, right?
Yeah.
Because they're such huge iconic characters that everybody connects with, and even grandmothers, have heard of Ed, and Eddy because they're like, like their kids watched it or their grandkids watched it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Same with the Ninja Turtles. I remember this huge African American principal, at this school in Houston that we did, which probably had about 2,000 kids, and I mean this place was it was packed, and as soon as I busted into Ed, and Eddy, obviously the kids all freaked out, but then when I busted into Raphael, this huge African American principal is like he's 10 years old again. He's just like, oh my God, that is so cool. He comes up to me afterwards because all the kids would line up and they'd want me to sign autographs and do the voice and stuff. And when he got to me, he had a tear in his eye, and I he's like brother, I just want you to know, I realized that the Ninja Turtles really helped me get through a really tough childhood. He said my dad was a really tough guy to live with. He didn't really go into it, but he intimated that, he had a really tough childhood, and it was watching the Ninja Turtles that really helped him to believe in himself and, live by a code of honor and realize that if he felt like an outsider, it's okay because he could still, just be himself. You know what I mean? Because that was the best way to be, and he said that literally that was the foundation of that really had him decide that he wanted to end up becoming a teacher. Right? Because he wanted to then help impart this, leadership in kids. So, talk about full circle. He's thanking me with a tear in his eye, and I'm, we're having this big, massive, man hug between a 5'5" Canadian named me and this big African American guy. And it was really, I had thousands of interactions like that, where people would say, you don't realize the power of these cartoons that you've been lending your voice to and how much they've affected our lives, right? You know, so to me, like I said, it's just been this 30-year gift, getting to do this thing called acting and, animation especially, right?
Yeah, it's very important, especially for the kids when they grow up and then they can pass that on to the next generation and whatnot.
Absolutely.
It's very important.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny because I always used to think that, it was just a great life that I was really great, that I was grateful to be living, because like I say, I get to go and have fun every day and I got paid every time I went and did it. But little did I know that it was having this like global impact on, millions and millions of kids, over these 30 years. Like I just go, wow, that's, really, that's the power of the superhero, right? To change the world.
It is a lot to take in, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, Bliss, I believe you're up next.
Uh-huh. I love talking to the kids. Kids is the best part of anything when you get to
absolutely
inspire and make them feel better about themselves. I love that feeling. But anyway, are there any cartoons you wish you could be a part of?
Oh, see, I'm a firm believer that you get the ones that you're meant to get, and I mean, obviously, would I have loved to get in on, say, The Simpsons when it first started? Like, that would just be, again, I think in a way, one of those iconic shows that, has spanned now, a couple of generations almost, right? It's, so something like that, I think, would be cool. And, I mean, I know that my career's not over yet, so that's good. I'm still, that there's a plan there somewhere for Matty Hill to be able to lend his voice to, say an animated feature that, so like, again, that's something that I can show my kids and go, hey, daddy did good. Daddy did good.
Watch your movie again.
That's great.
No, I totally get that.
Yeah.
It's really cool too because eventually, like when you do have kids and whatnot, you could show them look, I was in this, and then you get to do voices like for a show all over again, and your kids watching that. You're just like, hey, that's Dad. They're on like the TV.
Yeah, exactly. It's like my buddy, Richard Cox, who I don't know if you guys have interviewed him, but he is hilarious. He plays. He did. Has he been in? I don't know if he's been in Ponies yet or not.
I'm not sure.
Richard Ian Cox is his name, but anyhow, we just finished doing 3 seasons of Dino Trucks together on. It's for DreamWorks and it's shown on Netflix. And,
that's a show I've heard quite a lot about.
Yeah, it's one of these, like iconic shows that are quickly becoming a big deal around the world, right? And and so it's such a cool thing to again be part of, right? And know that like I said. I'm get to be gainfully employed, but at the same time, I get to continue to hang out with my posse, and do my thing.
Wait, actually, you said Richard Ian Cox, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, he's Snails in the show. Actually, I just remembered that.
Yeah. There you go.
He is best football player.
Yes.
Yeah. He is. Absolutely, but it's like, I've known him since one of the first acting gigs I ever did on television, and so he and I, same thing. We've known each other for 25 years. It's crazy,
It is, honestly. Fox, you were up next.
Yes. Hang on. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So this question. It definitely, I can see how much this impacts you. What is the most memorable time you had in voice acting?
One of the most memorable times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, like I said, doing Ed, and Eddy, like I said, it's the show that I worked the hardest on. Because, like I said, we never got to move forward in a scene until Danny had gotten what he wants. So, sometimes we were cursing him and cursing each other, and but like I said, at the end of it, then the proof is in the show. It's just this sort of lasting, thing that I love that everybody still likes it. And I don't know. I think also getting to do a movie with Jackie Chan a few years ago. That was a live action movie called
Shanghai.
Nights.
Yes, that one.
Yeah, Shanghai Nights, and and same thing, like getting to be playing this part, which was such a blast. I mean, getting to play a deputy, along with this legend who's like he's literally an international legend, and he was just such a cool, kind, human being to just share a scene with, and so it's like times like that where I'm going, wow, oh my God, Matty Hill, nice job, buddy, thanks for hanging in, that's what always makes me go like, all right, good stuff. There's more around the corner, and that's the beautiful thing about being an actor is, sometimes when you least expect it, that's when something like that comes around, right? And then you just have this magical experience, that gets to last a long time. Oh, and I do have to say that another experience on film that I had, which is funny because it's one of the few times that I ended up on the cutting room floor, because it didn't, I guess for whatever reason, it didn't make it in the final cut for the movie. But I can prove it because I still get a residual check every year from Elf. That movie with Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
I played a sports announcer Elf in this thing where we filmed a scene that was in the original script, but obviously it didn't make it in the final cut. But so every Christmas, I'm stoked to watch this movie because I remember having so much fun playing this part for the day. And I know exactly where it probably would have been if it made it in. So I'm like, okay, here it comes, and it didn't make it in. Okay, all right, here we go. But every time I get the residual check, I'm like, thank you very much.
I'm the only one that can prove that I actually did this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm not even in the I'm not in the credits. I'm not in the next time I get it at Christmas time, I'll put it up on Facebook or something, and I'll be like, see here, check it out, $7.50. Yeah, I think it was $7.50 or something like that.
$7.50 or $750?
Yeah. Huge money. $7.50, man.
That's that's still good enough. You could probably go to Starbucks, get something good with that, Nice little freebie. Nice little Christmas freebie. Come on.
Fancy drink.
I have enough for the grande latte or something with this.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, something like that. Actually, this segues nicely too. And Joey, I believe you have your last question as well, or second to last, I should say.
This may have been answered already, but which role would you say you're proud of the most?
Did I talk about Ed, and Eddy?
No, let's talk more about that. It's like we were here to talk about Soarin, but we spent all the time talking about Ed and Eddy. It's cool. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
That is so funny. Well, how about I throw you a ringer then? How about I throw a curveball, and actually say that they also really enjoyed playing Tenderheart on the Care Bears, because again, when we went on
I heard Care Bears. I heard Care Bears.
Care Bears.
Yeah.
My ears are up.
I played Tenderheart on the Care Bears.
And so it was so cool to be able to, like I said, when we went on our tour around the continent, and again to be able to say to a school full of kids,
who wants to save the planet with Tenderheart?
and usually the girls are just like completely losing their minds, and I get all these hugs, and it was pretty cool to be able to do that.
What Care Bears series did you play for? Did you play for one of the movies or one of the TV series?
Yeah, see, I'm thinking of the older versions from the 80s, so...
it was in the... When was it? It was in the 2000s. It was I think it was the 2000 and... I'm going to say 2004? 2005?
I think
that's
thinking
too
of
soon.
Adventures in Carolot.
Yes, that's what it was.
Oh, that. Okay, now it's coming back to me too.
That's right, when Backstreet Boys were still huge, right?
Oh my God.
It's actually funny you mentioned that, because I believe the first time that I heard you actually, Matt, I heard you in Card Captors.
Oh wow, you go back a long way.
I am way back. Card Captors was a show that I watched so much of. Like I remember Kiro. You were such a great character though.
My buddy Kiro Barris. Wow, they all kind of strangely sound the same sometimes, don't they?
A little bit, but it's like years pass and like there's a little bit of a tone change,
Exactly. Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Wow, that's like, man, Card Captors. That was fun.
All right. Let's see. Oh wow, we're almost done with this too. Great. Now, on a more serious note, we've been having a lot of fun here. This has been actually a really fun podcast interview so far. But I'm gonna take it real for a sec. This is actually Bliss. This is a question that you did a couple of interview podcasts ago, and I've kind of taken it now. Sorry, but it's
No, take it.
all right. This is very important. So there are those who say that voice acting is not a real job.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I got really angry when I heard this. Anyway, go ahead, Zach.
So what are your thoughts on that perspective, that voice acting is considered not a real job to some people?
Well, that's so interesting because, the last I checked, a real job is you go to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
A real job, you get paid, right?
Yep.
A real job, you have to file taxes, yeah. In this incredible job of doing voice actor, you actually get to do like interviews like this. Hello. So I actually think that's actually kind of funny because what then constitutes as a real job? I don't get that.
You have to be miserable with everything that you do. That is a real job.
You have to sit at a desk at a cubicle for the rest of your life.
That's cute, Ray.
And like I say, not to say that, because obviously you don't think I thank my accountant every year for choosing that job because he loves doing, as he said, he's like, I'm a geek. I love numbers. And I'm like, thank you for choosing to be the best accountant, and because I would suck at it. Can you imagine Ed counting your, all your money and stuff? It's like, that'd be crazy.
The thing is, I asked this question. We asked this question that Peter knew, and basically, I read this somewhere that somebody said that voice acting isn't a real job. It requires no effort, and I shared this with Peter New. I'm like, requires no effort. Okay, I am not a trained voice actor. I voiced my character Lightning Bliss on my show, but I remember at one point I was given a project which sadly did not go up. But it required me to take on a British accent as
here we
Mrs.
go.
Beaver for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as a parody series of some sort.
Right.
I cannot act to save my life, but I did my best to throw out this British accent. But the director of the project also expected me to redo every single line 3 times.
Oh God!
This was several lines from Mrs. Beaver, and so. If you are not accepting Aslan as the king, that there is something right wrong with you, and I had to repeat that.
But
all
it's
the
so
time.
weird. It's so weird hearing that from her because you have such a thick Texan accent, and so trying to be British.
Oh my God!
Not quite.
It was horrible for me because by the end of it all, my throat was torn up and I was out of breath, and I think I even got sick the next day, and everybody was like, "Are you okay?" Like, I think we're going to lose my voice in a second. And I told Peter knew all this, and he said, it does require a lot of physical work, and if you don't know how to breathe properly, which I don't, then, it's going to happen.
Oh, absolutely. He just nailed it. I mean, if you guys could see, we should videotape some of our auditions sometimes, or, some of our sessions. Like, I'll bring up Ed and Eddy again. I mean, it's the only, it's the only show that literally we sometimes would leave there feeling like we ran 100 miles because, and vocally we'd walk out sometimes not being able to talk, it was, oh man, you work your butt off. So, whoever has decided that it's not a real job really doesn't understand what it takes.
It takes a lot. You have to do a lot of retakes. You're in boost for like hours for like several like lines.
That's right. And
at the end of the day, you'll be out of your breath.
That's right. You got to sustain this character too for that many episodes, but also make it authentic and, make sure that you're hitting all the acting beats, making sure that you're reading it the right way. And then, like you said, having, some directors are amazing. They get it in one go and they're pretty good about stuff like that. Right. But, there's a lot of directors, and sometimes it's like the more producers that are in the room, the more takes you're asked to do, because I think in some respects, sometimes they're wanting to sort of satisfy their own their own creative take on it, and so oh God, I mean, sometimes it was not unheard of that we would do like into like the teens and early 20s in terms of the number of takes that we would do sometimes for Ed, Eddy, if Danny didn't hear like buttered toast the right way, be like, no, do it this way, do it like this, and buttered toast, no, do it like this, buttered toast, and then finally be like, okay, all right, okay, I got it, and I'm like sweating my brains off, it's like, oh my God.
It's just one line and we're not even halfway through this.
Oh yeah, and I'm not kidding you. Sometimes it was like the quote unquote easiest line that would give you the most grief, and other times when there's like a dialogue of like a big paragraph, you get I get through it in one go, right?
Yeah.
So
we have to actually believe that you want the toast.
Exactly.
No, hey, listen. That one line may be the most important line in that episode. All right, you don't understand the gravity of how important that is. The massive importance of just one line.
That's right.
Could seal a deal. Could make or break the episode.
Yep, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So, I actually have Joey has the last question, but I'm going to throw in just one joke bonus question for you. So. I can't believe I'm asking this. One of my friends dared me to do this. So you know about the term shipping, right?
Excuse me?
God.
Oh dear. Okay, the shipping of like how do we explain shipping to this?
When you want two characters to be in a relationship.
Okay.
So in the community concerning Soarin, there's been a lot of different ships. There's been a lot of people who wanted to see Soarin shipped with two different characters. These two characters are Spitfire and Rainbow Dash. So, from your perspective, which I guess ship do you see or support more? Do you see Soarin and Spitfire more, or do you see Soarin and Rainbow Dash more?
Well, I mean, what's wrong with liking them the same and dating them both at the same time?
Oh my God!
Sorry, is that okay?
Wait, what did he say? Can he repeat that again?
No, he said why not date them both at the same time?
He is such a player.
You are a player.
Like,
Wow.
If nobody's getting hurt, then it's okay.
These are the moments we live for.
Oh.
He's became the best voice actor on the show.
Dude, you're awesome.
You know what? Maybe what we do, maybe in order to answer that, is maybe you'd ask those two lovely, characters who they would more like to be matched with, right? Whether they would want to go out with Soarin, because maybe then you'll get the best answer.
No, but we heard it straight from you though, so that's something that I don't think either of us are going to forget. But no, but it's all in good fun. There's shipping wars. There are people who will go down with their ships and whatnot. But it's more amusing to hear it actually from the people who voice the characters and whatnot.
Sure.
It's much more amusing because it's more like, yeah, see, he said it, so therefore it's true or something. But no, it is all in good fun though. So
Yeah, it really, really is.
but
That's right. Like I said, because you just said like they go on a date, right? That's it. That's like, so that the date could consist of just going for a nice coffee together. So that's okay. It's okay. All right.
It could be different. You never know. But as long as it's cool, as long as Soarin wants to date both of them at the same time, that's cool. That's cool. Polyamorous relationships are a thing.
Well, maybe not, maybe what you just said, but maybe we rephrase it then and we said, okay, so in the spirit of just getting to know people, he went out with each of them, but on the same day.
Okay. All right.
So that it was like, let's say it was like date Saturday, so in the daytime he went out with one, and then in the later in the daytime he went out with the other, and then
Yeah, I like that. How gentlemanly.
maybe we just go with that, because really, like you said, it's Soarin is a gentleman.
Of course, there's also all the way off in the other corner. There are those who ship Soarin and Brayburn, but that's the whole other thing that we don't go into.
Oh God,
we don't go into that. That's another territory. That's
no.
PG podcast. So, anyways,
I thought this was a general.
well, it's G PG. We tend to keep it around that. Occasionally, it's slipped to PG-13. It's never gone R. We're all good. Anyway.
I mean, who's the one? Oh, voice actor of Daring Do. She's the one who actually cussed.
That's true.
Yeah, she did.
Chiara Zani, the first one we had on, she just like let a swear word slip and we all gasped because we had never heard that before.
You never heard anybody swear? Well, I'd say, yeah, exactly. Well, it's probably good you caught me on a Friday, so because I have this rule, it's like no cuss Friday, so.
Well, that's good.
Cool. Yeah, we try to keep it PG in our streams, especially when we're having voice actors on board. But yeah, she threw that out the window, and we're like, okay.
Okay, this is the thing. Let's just roll. Let's just keep going.
Yeah. She says the word, then she goes, oh, am I allowed to say that? No. Oh, shit.
Just say it again, so.
Yeah.
Probably gonna swear jar in these calls.
It just did.
It's all kinds of fun, though. Yes, to wrap this all up, though, Joey, actually, you have the last question for us to end off on.
Yep, do or die time. What does Ed have to say about all these ponies?
I would like to say just one thing to all the ponies on My Little Pony that remember to always brush your teeth and make sure your hooves are always clean, and if you step in something, clean it up, and also remember to like gravy, but that the pony kind of gravy that they like, and remember that if you crush a jawbreaker, you can eat it still, but you have to make sure that you share the rainbow ones, because of all the rainbow My Little Ponyers, and them, and then probably the last thing, that one thing I should say to the ponies is that you are all very sparkly. Yeah.
I had to hold that so bad.
Did you would you like me to repeat that?
No, that's
No,
okay.
no,
That's
okay.
good. Oh, this
Someday
is
there's gonna be an Ed motivational book.
This
Why are
is.
you laughing?
We do. We do need that. We need a motivational book like written by
Yeah.
Ed, sold in stores. That'd be perfect.
Can you imagine? It'd be like, an Ed podcast. Okay, inspirational Ed.
I think that would be pretty good.
I am Ed.
I'd follow that Twitter.
I would too. All right. Oh, this has been easily one of the most fun interviews I think we've ever had. So, firstly, Matt,
thanks,
dude,
Matt.
thank you so much for coming out and making this such an amazing experience for not just us, but for the people watching too.
Wow. Well, thank you everybody for having me on, and seriously, thanks for the support. And it's always great to talk to the great people.
Yes.
So thanks for doing that.
All right, so if you've made it this far into the episode, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and put down in the comments what your favorite Matt Hill role is. I know y'all are going to put Ed, but just pick more than one. We all know.
Actually, keep brainstorming, and I'll tell you what my favorite Matt Hill role is to get the ball rolling.
Okay.
My favorite is actually Marvin from Marvin Mystery, which is the first Matt Hill role I ever watched.
Wow.
Sam Vincent!
Wow, you go way back too.
I think that was also the first Sam Vincent role because he was the alien.
Wow, you go back that far too.
I know.
Have you guys interviewed Sammy?
Oh, we want to like crazy. Like he's been on our list for like a long time.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I can, if you've not been able to connect with him, then let me know, and I can tee you up. Because he's one of my best pals.
Oh, if you could do that, like we would be like forever in your debt if you could do that.
Absolutely, man. Maybe send me that. Maybe send like what what do you think? Like, what do you usually do? Like, do you just send like an introduction to people, or whatever?
I send out the emails. I say, hey, I do interviews. I provide a link to the playlist that has all the episodes of everyone that like we've interviewed and that I've done solo interviews with, and said, hey, this is how we do it. We were wondering if like we can work something out. Usually I go through an agent to do so, like I did with you. But
Well,
if there's any way like we can work like something out with Sam Vincent.
Absolutely, man. Send me that thing that you just said that you send, and I'll send it over to Sammy, and then he'll probably then say, oh, hey, I'll send it over to my agent or whatever. But sometimes that'll just kind of expedite, getting me in there a little faster.
Okay, yeah, definitely. After this, I'll send you that. Okay. Yeah. Good place to actually end this. So thank you guys for watching. You all are awesome. Join us on our next roundtable. What?
This is on TV?
No.
We're on TV?
Yes.
We're on. Where? Where? I can't see anybody.
Oh my God.
We're on the YouTube, sir. We're on the YouTube.
Oh, that's when you're from Wisconsin. Yup, we're on the YouTube. Yup.
We're on the YouTube, don't you know?
Like, can you imagine if Ed was from Wisconsin?
Oh, dear.
Cut the trees. Yeah. Oh, sorry, just cut the trees. Whoops. Just sitting here on YouTube.
Oh, okay. I got nothing for that. See you guys in the next video.
Okay.